Welcome everyone back to another exciting season of Track Limits Racing. Season 3 as Barney frantically waves the flag, the end of practice. We'll get into qualifying here in just a moment. A couple new changes for the season. You'll see it there in the pre-stream, but just as a reference for all of us who are new to this series. We have multi-class, LMP3, GT3, GT4. Both LMP3 and GT4 this season have Pro and AM splits, which I think I'm so excited about. We move back to a single qualifying for those of our longtime members who are used to the open qualifying format in order to shorten up the evening and save us from 45 minutes of quali. We have 10 minutes now of qualification, so we're going to watch these drivers go for an outlap, and then we'll hang out with each of the classes in ascending order as they set lap times individually. So, we are at the Hungaroring to start out the season. A wonderful track that I'm super thrilled to be at, and I love having available to us, as I probably peeked the mic a couple times. Sorry. Hungaroring. This was my, as well as the other commentators' track choice from last season, and we're kicking it off this season with it, which is fantastic. One of my favorite tracks that we don't go to enough in iRacing, that is on iRacing. Super fun in Formula Cars, equally fun and almost more technical with the tin top machinery we'll be using here today. I'm flying solo in the booth for the first time. I'm Fennicini. I feel like I gotta introduce myself. I've been flying about a mile a minute today. I went from broadcast to racing to broadcast right now, and then I'll be back in a car later this evening. So bear with me as I get settled in. We're going to jump over from there. 153 for the GT3. Stephen Wallace currently, GT4s. Stephen Wallace currently on the top of that. A couple new adjustments to our graphics and overlays as well that you'll see there. So, for round number 1 of the 2025 Season 3 grid, let's see here. We're going to lead it off with Vincent Leroux still setting in that best lap time alongside Benjamin O'Shea, who's only 3 tenths behind. about that. It's pretty quick, but hopefully that's consistency you can build there. Oscar Brown, we'll get to you in just a second. Vincent Leroux, Benjamin O'Shea on that front row. Jaden Ledbetter alongside Gian Cardoso. Track Limits Racing, veterans and stewards, owners, pieces of that puzzle, I should say. Reese Allport, Christopher Blue, which I'd love to see in GT3, and Brandon Potts are going to round out the 9 drivers showing up for the GT3, I'm also trying to organize a food for myself as I go through all this craziness, so bear with me. Jake Hewitt is going to be 5th in GT4, 4th in GT4 Pro. Andrew Matthias is going to round out the top 6 there. Matt Pyle alongside John Newman, another veteran of the TLR series. The answer is no, I've not missed anyone, as the pace car peels in. Vincent LaRue going to lead off LMP3. Great start from Vincent LaRue. Is going to see him jump ahead of Benjamin O'Shea, Jaden Ledbetter, Gian Cardoso. Going to fan out to almost 3 wide. Gian Cardoso making the look, but deciding to stay behind Jaden for the moment, but it's going to be close. Scott Fleming trying to go around the outside of Gian Cardoso. Mark Coyne, Jake Fulton, and Cameron Robertson, and Emery Anderson, the LMP3 AM field, seeing all those drivers end up there as well. Ethan Hamlet has led away GT3, which has had a fantastic run out of turn number 1. Everybody seems to be going the right direction as we get underway here. Stephen Wallace gonna lead away GT4, both Pro and AM. GT3 sees a large lead helmed off by Ethan Hamlet. Ben Eichen about 2 seconds behind already, holding about a second lead to Austin Green. And Gab Chavez, Tommy Kogan rounding out those top 5 as Austin Green's had a fantastic start to the race. See all of them continue their race as is. That lovely Purple Rain Aston Martin GT3 is going to be fantastic. Stephen Wallace, Nick Bowen, Tanner Schiffner, Jake Hewitt are going to be top 4 there. Oscar Brown, that lead driver of GT4 AM, still holding about a 1.5 lead to Logan Branson, who's in P2. Gab Chavez fighting with Austin Green, Tommy Kogan for P3 in GT3. All right. Taking a look here, up and down the order, plenty of battles going on. Benjamin O'Shea and Jaden Ledbetter, Gian Cardoso, Scott Fleming, all within a second of each other. Gab Chavez listed as crash. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. Coming in alongside Austin Green. I wonder if he just gets loose coming out into the corner. Oh, over brakes himself, bumps into the back of Austin Green, and that will see him send that Lamborghini out to the field individual. Okay. So we'll see Ben Aiken in GT3 was in second, ends up falling down to 4th after this. It's just, I think, a little too overzealous. Not enough early braking, tries to correct it, and ends up losing that rear traction as a result. Hit live. Boy, howdy. There we go. With that being said, Austin Green, Tommy Kogan still going to be duking it out for P3 or P2 now. Excuse me. After Ben Aiken has fallen out of the top 3. Gab Chavez passing Casey Caraway for P number 6 as he's on his recovery drive. 13 minutes elapsed, 7 minutes to go as we get almost completed with our first heat race of the season. Tommy Kogan still trying to chase down Austin Green for the bottom 2 spots of the podium. I want to see the onboard with the Aston Martin GT3. Such a fun car to begin with, and it sounds so wonderful from the inside. Take a listen real quick as I'm sitting here blabbing on. Ooh, Tommy throws the look, opts to stay behind Austin. 2 of them end up being 16 seconds behind Ethan Hamlet, who's kind of on a race of his own. Into pit lane. I wonder what for. We'll see him. See them, I should say. I may not. Can't say for certain. See them come in this time by. I'm not 1,000% on what for, other than maybe not enough fuel, which is a unfortunate thing if that's the case. We are only a handful of laps in, but more than I would expect to see from maybe they only expected it to be a 15-minute race, and that was part of the problem. They only fueled for 15 minutes and then realized they would need to come back in. And Emery Anderson, we're seeing labeled as crashed again. Biggest battle on track at the moment will be Tommy Kogan and Austin Green, still a half second with each other in GT3. GT4 sees the top four still within a second of each other. Stephen Wallace being hounded by Nick Bowen and Tanner Schiffner and Jake Hewitt, all in all you could say under a blanket, all within like 2 seconds of each other. Checker flag, flies as Vince LaRue makes it home P1. Jaden Ledbetter in P3, along with Benjamin O'Shea in second, Jane Cardoso in fourth. Ethan Hamlet currently trying to make his way around the final corner to take home the win in the heat race for GT3. Austin Green and Tommy Kogan still not done yet, as Austin Green gets caught up with lapped traffic. We'll see if Tommy Kogan also wants to try to make the move here around the outside of the hairpin, one of two. We'll see him end up still a little bit slow. Half a second separates these two. I think we'll have to see how these two fare in the feature race in just a moment's time. Behind them and also with them is going to be the entire top three podium spots of GT4 Pro, which we'll see Stephen Wallace hold on just by 2/10 to Nick Bowen. Tanner Schiffner rounding out that podium. Jake Hewitt still less than a second from all of them. Oscar Brown, after a fantastic and consistent race, comes home the leader of GT4 AM. Logan Branson coming home second there. Paul York going to be rounding out that podium as well as he tries to finish home ahead of John Newman, who will be our final finisher, I believe, on track for the sprint race. Heat race results are in. Let's take a look at them if we can, if I don't break anything else. Vince LaRue is going to lead off the LMP3 Pro category. Benjamin O'Shea coming home second. Jaden Ledbetter in third. Gene Cardoso, Mark Coyne, Scott Fleming rounding out that one. LMP3 AM is going to see, I believe, Cameron Robertson, lead home. Jake Fulton and Emery Anderson for that 3 car, all on the podium for those 3. GT3, going to see Ethan Hamlet come home ahead of Austin Green, Tommy Kogan by 23 seconds. A fantastic run for Ethan Hamlet, starting off this dominance early. GT4 Pro, we'll see Stephen Wallace take home the win just ahead of Nick Bowen, 2/10. I think that battle is far from over in terms of this feature race. Alongside Tanner Schiffner, Jake Hewitt, and Matt Pyle round out the top 5 there. GT4 AM, all 4 of these drivers. We'll see Oscar Brown lead home Logan Branson, Paul York, and John Newman. I have said so many things. I hope you all would love to hear them all again, because I'm going to do it once more. Because apparently, even though the mic shows that it's not off, it still is not displaying anything. And now, hopefully it is, because I can see it actually moving. Great start. GT3, we'll see Ethan Hamlin once again. A great early lead. Yeah, it was just because I absolutely hit the button, but even though I hit the button, it didn't actually do the thing I wanted it to do. Austin Green, Tommy Kogan duking it out once more. Reese Allport going to hold off Christopher Blue, Ben Eichen, and Gab Chavez. All four of those drivers within a little while. Let's ride along board with Gab Chavez for a little bit as we see these train of drivers trying to get through the back half of the lap, getting out of turn number 11 and onto one of the many straights, or excuse me, turn number 10 going into turn number 11. I know where I am on track. We'll see them all continue to duke it out early on in the race for these positions just outside of the podium. The battle for the top, all the podium steps pretty much, are still up for grabs. Ben Eichen losing out to Gab Chavez, who has a great run into turn number 2. We hop out of the onboard cams. We got plenty of them, but it's also super fun to watch these cars from outside of the onboard cams. We'll see those two swap positions as Ben Eichen's trying to figure out how to get that car going the right direction. Started second in the heat race and has been having a bit of a backward slide at the start here, but plenty of racing still left to go, so I believe ample opportunity there. Vincent LaRue 5 seconds ahead of the rest of the LMP3 grid. Cameron Roberson rounding out a 6-car train, including Mark Coyne. Austin Green, Tommy Kogan. This battle, we saw it in the heat race. I think we're not going to see it go anywhere in the feature either. It is here for a good time. All right. Make sure I got all that right. Cool. And then, see, I fake the inside there. Ben Eichen trying to get around Reese Allport as well. Reese Allport had a great start to the race, but now finds himself a little bit further back. All good, safe driving there. Keeps both those cars going the right direction. Ben Eichen late on the brakes there, having to take advantage maneuvers to not hit Reese. Slow down for Matt Pyle. See that come through and get served. Jaden Ledbetter trying to get past trying to not get it past by Cameron Robertson, who is finding a bunch of pace here early on. Gab Chavez, I think, finding himself right behind Christopher Blue, and those two are going to go at it for a little while. Fantastic to see Christopher Blue in the GT3 category. Usually have seen him in GT4 in the past, making that jump and jumping the type of car too, from a BMW to a Corvette. A fantastic thing we love to see. And Jake Hewitt still keeping up with Stephen Wallace in the GT4. I'm just coming back to this battle here because it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Each time you think there's one or the other, both trying to kind of changes hands on who has the faster lap. We'll see Ben Eichen, Reese Allport finally make that swap for position there. And Ben, I think, will he be able to hold on to it, keeping the inside there? The flashers are just going for Reese. I wonder what's happening there. That has those going. Gabe Chavez and Christopher Blue still duking it out as well. Tommy Kogan, however, still chasing down Austin Green, as well as Gab Chavez trying to chase down Christopher Blue. All right. A thing I'd love to keep in mind for everyone at home who are tuning in here is that we've done all this and we still have 55 minutes left of this race. We are just under the hour mark at this point. We have, I believe it's going to be at least 2 stops for all classes at this point, because of the 50% across the board fuel capacity sees all of them have a reduced fuel capacity, which we'll see all of them have to come in sooner. So about an hour-long stint for the GT3s, as well as I believe the LMP3s. GT4s are about an hour and 10-ish, depending on how much they fuel save on full tanks. Meaning on half tanks, we'll have to come in at 30 minutes for those GT3s, 35 minutes for those GT4s. So you could theoretically pull out a one-stop in the GT4 category, I think. We'll have to see. It may not be with a new fuel category and with a new fuel overhaul that the GT4 category got this past season. Obviously, I've not done a ton of fuel numbers to make sure. Cassie Caraway finds themselves on the outside of the barriers. Once again, this fast corner going to catch some people out. It looks like Casey is one to fall prey to it. Oh, too much speed through there. You see that rear end just slide around, keeps it out of the barrier, and then gets it out of the way to get it under back rolling. But I'll see Casey in 8th of the 9 drivers. Christopher Blue and Gab Chavez still in a battle for P4 overall. Excuse me. I had to over-enunciate that because I said Chris Bebe, and I was like, that's not a word. Those aren't words. You got to use your words correctly if you're going to speak about them. Gab Chavez consistently just a little faster than Christopher Blue by hundredths and tenths. You can see that in their fastest laps between the two of them. Only 300ths separated in the favor of Chris Blue, and the recent laps show the odds swinging in the favor of Gab Chavez. 2 tenths separate these drivers. I should get that up. That's probably what I'm looking at. What's wrong with this picture? We don't have intervals. There we go. Intervals now available. Which will show you exactly what I've been missing. So, you can see that on that interval. You can also see Jaden Ledbetter closing in on Gian Cardoso. Gab Chavez, we just talked about that battle between him and Christopher Blue, and now labeled as crashed. I wonder what happened here. Still behind Christopher Blue at this point, trying to get the pass done. Oh, looks on the inside, grabs the grass, and just has too much rotation there. When the tires regrip, comes to a stop backwards. Oh, gets that move done carefully, keeps out of the way of Reese Allport, and then gets the car going back the right direction. But that battle with Christopher Blue comes to a close. Tommy Cogan out to a second as well. Battle's now starting to drift off on track. Cameron Robertson trying to keep about a second ahead of Mark Coyne. Both of those drivers battling for their overall positions in LMP3. Ben Eichen, now the driver to try to bring a fight to Christopher Blue, trying to get around the GT4 of Ryan Buchanan, and Corey Lobner. Up ahead just a moment as those two, the gap spreads back out to about a second between Ben Eichen and Christopher Blue. Austin Green now hounded by Tommy Cogan, as these two have seen traffic play in their favor, or really in Tommy's favor. I would say probably less in Austin Green's. Tommy Cogan also going to try to follow him around the outside. Jaden Ledbetter labeled as crashed. Oh no. Was he trying to text while drive? That is the question. Gets around Gian Cardoso. We will take a look back on that as well. Oh, just spins it. Just spins it going into turn number 2. Too much aero there. And then is waiting to try to find a spot to rejoin. Eventually does so. Want to see that pass there. That got done. Austin Green, Tommy Cogan still duking it out. 20 minutes in of this 70-minute feature race. I might lose my voice by the end of this. I'm not sure. It might happen. Stephen Wallace getting chased down by Tanner Schiffner and Nick Bowen. Both of them now within a second of each other. Jake Fulton labeled as crashed. Find out what happened to Jake Fulton here. As he takes a tumble trying to get around Brandon Potts. I think probably a similar situation we saw Jaden Ledbetter. Just too much rotation and not enough grip. Keeps it. Oh, nice catch there before it hits anything serious. We'll see him rejoin the track pretty easily. Wonderful to have you join us for the first round of the Season 3 of 2025 Sports Car Series here on Track Limits Racing. If you're just joining us, I'm Fennicini, bringing you all the coverage for this season. In the booth with me, ideally for most of the season, will be a lovely individual when he is back from just a vacation. I think he has earned 7-fold, 15 different ways, and I wish him the best. Phil Milley, if you are out there watching the VOD or watching this live, best wishes to you and everything that's happening there. Back to racing action. Christopher Blue, Ben Eichen, duking it out. I want to hop on to the roof of Ben Eichen's car, take a look, see what the GT3s experience here in the back half of the lap, especially as they're dueling The aero wash makes this car a little bit more awkward to drive than it would be had it not have a car in front of it. It's not too bad, thankfully, but it does unsettle the car in ways that you have to be prepared for and expect when you go through some of these faster corners where the downforce is really a factor. You have to take into consideration how fast you can take a corner. See that happen here in a moment. Ben Eichen and Chris Blue. I want to dive back to this battle real quick because 2/10 and up to 3/10 is all that separates these two drivers as they get around the traffic of John Newman. John Newman trying to stay out of the way of these two drivers. Unfortunately, that's going to bring that battle apart for a little while as they drift out to 0.7 of a second. Both Tommy Cogan and Austin Green pushing really hard. Andrew Matthias off track there. Kevin Robertson. Oh no, Kevin Robertson labeled as crash after this battle here. That's Mark Coyne. That's not what I wanted. All right. This was the battle. What would be for third, Kevin Robertson or third overall. But Kevin Robertson, the similar thing that has plagued a couple of our LMP3 drivers, almost said LMP2, has once again caught out another one. I would have to expect we see a couple more before the end of the race at the rate that these are going. Battle between Ben Eichen and Chris Blue coming to 0.1 of a second between each other, and we'll see those two continue to duke it out as Chris and Ben are in the process of trying to resolve who wins this. Kevin Robertson not having any luck as that car comes to another crash. See what happens here. End of the lap. So shortly after that spin happened earlier, or really a lap later, into turn number 1. I wonder, broke on the curbing, I think, and that is what caused that car to go sliding out of the way, giving the spot back to Jaden Ledbetter, who now finds himself in 5th on his way back up the order. Tommy Cogan, Austin Green, these two at blows once again. 26 minutes have elapsed. We are 10 minutes away from the halfway mark. We should be seeing, I would have to imagine, here within the next 10 minutes, our first round and maybe our only round of pit stops as the night goes on. We'll have to see if that can be done or what's happening there. Ben Eichen, Chris Blue, also still duking it out in GT3. LMP3 sees multiple seconds between all those drivers, find themselves within a couple seconds. 2/10 separate Ben Eichen, Christopher Blue. I'm going to see if this... Ben Eichen trying to find his way around, can't get it done. Turn number 5, the Achilles heel, puts those guys back out to half a second. And wonder if he breaks too late here. Oh no, I mean, gotta have some help. Let's try to follow along once again. Oh, and Ben Eichen. I'm gonna take one more look here from ideally Paul York's point of view. Give it that roll bar. Oh, that late lunge. We'll see. Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a tap there as those two go at it. Ben Eichen, I want to see what happened here. First round of pits stops are also happening in GT4 as well as LMP3. This is Ben Eichen. Oh, I wonder if he outbraked himself trying not to hit Christopher Blue. It looks like it. Gets a little too overzealous. We saw him do that earlier on in the race, and now it's happened twice. Mark Coyne, Ethan Hamlet technically is the one the gap I was looking at. Tommy Cogan and Austin Green still in a battle. Gab Chavez trying to get past Reese Allport once again. We'll have to see how that plays out here over the next couple of laps, especially as we get into the pit window for the GT3 drivers. Nick Bowen and Tanner Schiffner still are inseparable. Logan Branson still being hounded. Jake Hewitt going to dive in from where he has the lead of GT4 Pro. Tanner Schiffner also diving in. Nick Bowen staying out, getting another lap in. And Austin Green, Tommy Cogan also going to keep fighting. Ethan Hamlin dove into the pit lane this time by. I'm going to guess we're going to see a lot of the GT3s do the same. No, Tommy Cogan staying out, getting another lap in. I wonder if Tommy Cogan has been fuel saving throughout all of this. He's trying to make a one-stop a viable strategy. We'll have to see. Austin Green will dive in. We'll see probably a good portion of the GT3 field also dive in this time out. Matt Pyle, Corey Lobner, all diving out of pit lane ahead of Logan Branson, as well as some others. The interesting thing, I don't think Corey took tires. I think you'll be okay not taking tires, but I think that might be what have caught some of the GT4 AM drivers out as a result. Austin Green also diving in. Ben Eichen, Reese Allport diving to pit lane as well. Logan Branson crashing on the exit. Let's see what happened. Just after turn number 1, turn number 2, and coming into the infamous, now I would say infamous now, the same similar incident that we've seen happen a few times here, gets it pulled out of the way successfully before any issues arise. Christopher Blue coming out ahead of Ethan, has yet to pit, is ahead of Ethan Hamlet. Tommy Kogan gonna pull in this time by, almost, I think, has an unsafe pit entry by the looks of it, keeps it thankfully in the right place. Christopher Blue also diving in. Last two of our drivers yet to pit. Nick Bowe and Ryan Buchanan, both the drivers who didn't come in last time for GT4, gonna dive in this lap. Gab Chavez, excuse me. Oh, that is a car that looks like it is unhappy. We'll see what happened here, as again, I think the new tires, cold tires, catching some drivers out. Super curious if it's the same type. Yep. Yeah, just has that slide. Oh, and you can see that crumpled right rear, and that fender is not happy from where it is. We'll probably see him come in at some point to get that repaired. Oh, he parks it after, I think, a second crash here. Let's see what happens. Trying to go through the fast right-hander, or left-hander, excuse me. Oh, that back end fell off, and that is what caused the issue with the speed difference. Christopher Blue, Ben Eichen. This battle that has happened since the start now continues. Christopher Blue letting Ben Eichen go by because otherwise I think he would have compromised both his own race as well as others with maybe some damage there. Gab Chavez, a night going from bad to worse as he tries to get that car back to pit road. But that car, you can look at that right rear. That looks so upset. No wonder he's having issues there trying to make any kind of turn at speed. And we'll see the lovely iRacing AI drifting, not AI, but the iRacing thing that displays on all the video screens that are on a track. All right. A lot of the battles cooled off. Gives me plenty of time to talk about things. As a result, pit cycling causing a spread. 10 seconds between Vincent LaRue and Gian Cardoso. I'm super curious if Gian can hold on to the gap that he has to Mark Coyne for second. Gab Chavez getting that repair done and into that. Black flag for him as well. I wonder if that was for incident limits or for an unsafe pit entry. Unfortunate either way. We'll see him fall down to the tail end of the GT3 order. Mark Coyne continuing to hang out right behind Gian Cardoso. Brandon Pott's going to dive into pit lane for his final stop, I believe. As these two, oh my gosh, Mark Coyne. I wonder if Mark Coyne's trying to two-stop it and Gian Cardoso is trying to one-stop it. That might be the play here. We'll have to see how they develop. I'm curious what happened to Christopher Blue. Let's go back and look at it as those two continue to battle it out. That is a broken car to begin with. What happened to this car earlier? That is a broken car there. Let's find out. Okay, here we are. Car looks put together. Oh, got over the curbing hard into the barrier. Is going to see that entire rear kind of fall apart. And that will see him pull it over there. And then he pauses, waits for traffic to happen. I'm going to follow this car. That car is hurting something fierce. You can see it in the way that bodywork is just crumpled. And that and that car just spins on him. And I think he makes the wise decision from there to jump into the pits. Yes, absolutely. And he entered pits. Mark Coyne out of pit lane along with Christopher Blue, trying to get as much points as he can back into this fight. Corey Lobner also joining the cars that have had a crash. I wonder what happened to Corey Lobner. Back half. Oh, I wonder if he just got a little loose there. Yeah, it got loose on that last corner and then just got more loose and then did not catch it in time. And that car just spun around. Well, we had talked with Corey about it, about how many times he was going to spin it. And the answer is at least once. Cameron Robertson also labeled as crash. Let's see what happened here. He jumps the pits. I wonder if he dodges to gets all in the curbing, trying to avoid. Nice. Keeps it out of the harm's way. Oh, no, that is not harm's way. Oh, that got hit so hard, and that car is stunning rings. Jake Hewitt also broken as a result of that. I want to watch that from the roof cam of Jake Hewitt if I can. We're on board, and we'll see. Comes around the corner, and that is right. Just target fixates. Did not make enough of a maneuver. We'll have to see. That broken front right, we'll see probably Jake Hewitt dive into pit lane this time by once he's coming back around. We'll see. It's probably that right. Yeah, that right one is definitely not turning the way it should be. Got smoked. Yeah, they absolutely did. Andrew Matthias in to pit lane. He can't go the distance. I get the feeling we're not going to be able to see all of these cars make it to the end without issue. I'm not sure. But with how long Nick Bowen was floating or staying on the jacks, I get the feeling it was possible. Gian Cardoso diving in as well. Can't go the distance. We'll see him probably in for about the same amount, 10 seconds for these drivers. Matt Pyle, Tanner Schiffner, Nick Bowen, all in battles as well. And these drivers are going to be going at it, I think, till the checkered flag. Tanner Schiffner, Stephen Wallace. I got to imagine Stephen Wallace is trying to make the one stop happen. They're running about a second slower than they were at their fastest laps. We'll have to see if that's the case or not. But with how these two are running, I got the feeling it's possible. Not impossible, but very possible. Closest battles on track right now are the ones I'm showing you between these three pairs of drivers. Tanner Schiffner trying to get past Stephen Wallace, Nick Bowen trying to get around Matt Pyle for that bottom step of the podium in GT4 Pro. And then, last but certainly not least, Paul York and Logan Branson for GT4 AM lead as they go. Christopher Blue trying to stay ahead of Ethan Hamlet and get back around. We'll have to see here if Ethan gets by. John Newman diving into pit lane as well to get his last splash and dash done. Austin Green labeled as crashed as we were watching that lead for GT4 AM. And I want to see what happened here for Austin Green. Clearly not too awful. Logan Branson into pit lane once. Oh, that was an unfortunate moment there. Keeps it out of the wall, however. Something I want to point out. Black flag for Logan Branson for incident limits. Paul York no longer under the gun for the lead of GT4 AM. Tommy Cogan, Ben Eichen in a battle for GT3 on the bottom step of the podium. Tommy Cogan having a more interesting race up until this point, but still has to come. Austin Green and Ethan Hamlet still have to pit, so we'll have to see. As well as Ben Eichen that we're following along with. Ryan Buchanan in from his spot in the race to do his splash and dash for the end. Cameron Robertson trying to get around some GT3 traffic. Logan Branson labeled as crashed after that incident, after the drive-through. Wonder what happened there. Taking a look. We're coming into the 90-degree right-hander of turn number 12. And just too much rotation. Sees him slide off track, and then he pulls it around, keeps it out of the wall, and gets that car going back again. Ethan Hamlet diving into pit lane. Even Ethan cannot go the distance. 8 seconds in and out. Quick and done and dusted, as they say. So what happened to Logan Branson here? Finds himself in another crash. I think he is having a rough evening after that initial drive-through cost him a potential win. Yeah, oh gosh. That car would be leaking all kinds of stuff. Benjamin O'Shea having to take a little bit of evasive action there. Mark Coyne also labeled as crashed. Oh no. What happened here? Mark Coyne, Gian Cardoso. I wonder if the infamous turn number 3 has claimed another victim. I guess. Yeah, there it is. You can see it. He had almost kept it. I think if he just let off the throttle and let it straighten out, but gets it done, gets back into it, keeps his spot, still 8 seconds ahead of Benjamin O'Shea. That battle for third coming to a close. 8 seconds between the leader and the class of LMP3 and Jaden Ledbetter. taking a look, I'm going to hop over to what we call, oh, that is a spun Jaden Ledbetter. Oh, Ryan Buchanan, Reese Allport also dragged into that. What happened there? Ethan Hamlet also amongst that. Jaden trying to go around. Oh, and just taps Ryan Buchanan and then gets straightened back out by Reese Allport. Jake Hewitt get around not Matt Powell, Ryan Buchanan, but not in the way I think he would have wanted. So, that brings us to the closing stages. Less than 2 minutes remain. Hopping over to the grid. Drive-thrus for both Jake Hewitt and Reese Allport for incident limits, along with Jaden Ledbetter. As the white flag comes out, you'll see Gian Cardoso and maybe Mark Coyne. Yeah, it looks like it. Get around him as we are coming down to the white flag. Vincent LaRue now 17 seconds ahead of the P2 position, Gian Cardoso. Jaden Ledbetter with a meatball as well. What happened to the Jaden? Hold on, let me see if I can find a camera here that will show me what happened to this poor car in a way that makes sense. Heartbreak at the end of the night for Jaden Ledbetter having to come in. Brandon Potts also with a drive-through. Stephen Wallace with a black flag as well from the lead of the race. Dramatic finish to the night. Vincent LaRue coming around the last couple corners, trying to get by. Christopher Blue choosing to hang out behind, knowing that the speed difference isn't too great between those two classes, and choosing to wait. Stephen Wallace coming in to serve his drive-through penalty on the checkered flag. And we'll see him wrap it up. Checkered flag in the air for Vincent LaRue, who comes home P1, a victor of the evening. You can see that swivel there. See the car fly down towards pit lane. And to be there, Gian Cardoso coming around the final corner now to take home P number 2. Mark Coyne going to find himself in third at the end of the night. Both of those drivers coming home, P1, P2, or P2, P3. Ethan Hamlet, a whole lap ahead, finishes before Tommy Cogan and Austin Green. And rounding out that podium, we'll see Tommy Cogan, Austin Green hit the checkered flag here. Matt Pyle, the first of the cars not of the podium in GT4 Pro. Tanner Schiffner, Nick Bowen, and Stephen Wallace will try to wrap up the last lap here and see if he can finish in third. Karen Roberson also with a drive-through penalty at the end of the race. It is a very high incident count tonight. I'm super curious to see if we have beat our previous record. My guess is no, but it might be close. Jaden Ledbetter wrapping it up, coming home third at the end of the night. Benjamin O'Shea only a few tenths behind. We're waiting on the last couple cars. Austin Green as well as Ben Eichen trying to come home and wrap up the podium for GT3. LMP3 Pro and AM podiums have been finalized. Have not been finalized. As Emery Anderson still coming home to wrap up the LMP3 AM podium. And last but certainly not least, Tanner Schiffner, Nick Bowen, and Stephen Wallace round out the GT4 Pro category. What a race. What a fan. It was a one for the books. A fantastic start to the season. Sees Vincent LaRue come home P1 ahead of Gian Cardoso, Mark Coyne. I want to take a look at the results here. We'll start with the LMP3 Pro category, work our way through. GT3 results. We'll see Ethan Hamlet take home the win there. Tommy Cogan in second. Austin Green is going to round out that podium. The late race spin causing that one to come to an anticlimactic end. Ben Eichen, Reese Allport are the top 5. Casey Caraway, Christopher Blue, Brandon Potts are the top 8. Gab Chavez is going to be the one that does not finish from the GT3 category. And that, I think that is it for us tonight. We have gone through a heat race, a feature race. Our first race of the season is in the books. After Hungaroring, we're going to Hockenheim. Hockenheim comes next in 1 week's time. And then in a couple weeks' time after that, we'll see Sonoma on the 1st. And we'll see you guys in just a week's time for round number 2 of Track Limits Sports Car Series, season number 3. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Fennicini once again, and I'll see you guys in 7 days' time for Hockenheim Ring and another fantastic evening of racing here at Track Limits Racing.